Hi, my name is David Wakeley.
And I'm Nathan McLean.
And we are children's pastors at Hillsong Church, and we love it.
We want to welcome you to the Hillsong Kids Big User Guide.
In the next few minutes, you're going to learn every single tiny little detail about how to run this big curriculum in your children's ministry.
This interactive, multimedia-based curriculum has 13 lessons made up of 3 themes, with 4 to 5 topics per theme.
Now, you could use this most commonly in your children's ministry week to week on your weekend services.
Totally, Dave.
And it would last 13 weeks, and you'd do each lesson over a week. But you could use it in a camp.
Maybe VBS.
And those 4 weeks could be compressed down to 4 days. However you want to do it, there are 4 key phrases that you will need to know.
The first key phrase is big picture.
What's a big picture, Nath?
It's the overall lesson theme for the 4 or 5 lessons.
The big idea is the topic for each lesson.
And the big point is the key learning outcome for each big idea.
The big word is the Bible memory verse for each big picture. Did you get that? Let's recap. We've got a big picture which runs for 4 or 5 lessons.
That is made up of big ideas,
which each have a big point that we want your kids to learn and go leave your children's ministry knowing in their head and in their heart.
And each big picture has a big word, which is the memory verse that we want your children to learn for the month.
So we want to partner with you guys in raising a generation of children who love Jesus, worship God, and make a difference in their community.
How does it work, Dave?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Nath. Let's go through the Hillsong Kids Big Tell the World Media Pack.
We'll start with the big picture DVDs.
There are 3 of these. Each big picture DVD contains all the multimedia elements you need to run an awesome learning experience for your kids. We're going to go through what's on those discs a little bit later.
Next, we have the Hillsong Kids Big Print Material disc.
Every print material item you need, we're talking small group studies, leaders' guides, activity sheets, it's all on there for you to print out what you need.
Wow. Next is the Hillsong Kids Tell the World MPEG Library disc.
What's an MPEG, Nath?
Something you hang your clothes out with?
Pretty close. Now, if you know what MPEGs are, then you're going to be excited about this. We have the backing tracks for all of our Tell the World songs that you can use to do praise and worship in your children's ministry. If you don't know what an MPEG is, like Nath, then that's cool. All the music is still on the big picture DVDs.
That's great. We also have the Hillsong Kids Tell the World Worship DVD.
That's our latest live worship for kids DVD that accompanies the curriculum and includes episodes that your families can view together to partner with you in your ministry.
That's great. Hillsong Kids Tell the World Worship CDs next.
All of the songs from our latest live worship album for kids.
We've got the Hillsong Kids Tell the World Music Book CD-ROM.
Well, now this features all the sheet material. So if you've got bands or you want to play the music live, then this is perfect. You'll be able to print out every single song that you can do.
Fantastic.
How to use the big picture DVDs.
There are 3 big picture DVDs.
And each single one of these contains 4 to 5 weeks of multimedia.
All you need is a DVD player and a TV or projector.
Doesn't matter what you set up, from the biggest projector and screen to the biggest sound system, right down to the smallest TV and DVD player, this is going to work for you.
When you play the DVD, a main menu screen will come up. You can choose which lesson you want to go to by clicking on one of the big ideas.
The setup menu. If you click on the setup menu, you'll be able to choose what format you would like the praise and worship accompaniment track videos to play in. There are 3 options: full mix, backing track, or click with backing track. The default setting is the full mix.
The full mix contains the full mix of the song, with the full vocals and instruments. This is a great option to use if you do not have a band or singers. You can use this in any of your services.
Backing track. This contains the backing track version of the songs and does not include full vocals in the mix. This is a great option to use if you do not have a band, but you do have singers who could lead your children in praise and worship, along with the accompaniment track video.
Click with backing track. This contains the click with backing track of the song. This is a great option if you have singers and a band who want to play along with the accompaniment track video.
Accompaniment track menu. If you click on the accompaniment tracks, it'll bring up the 4 songs that correspond to the big picture, which you can play individually.
Big idea menus. When you click on one of the big ideas, a new menu screen will appear that contains the multimedia that you need for that lesson.
Now, the menu screen is designed in such a way that you leave it up on your TV or projector for the whole service, as it's a visual reminder of the big idea for that week.
Big picture DVDs feature
pre-service countdown video,
praise and worship accompaniment track videos,
big words,
big message video clips,
big quizzes,
ministry time video,
and a game time video.
Okay, Dave, let's have a look at each of these individually and break it down.
First one is our pre-service countdown video.
The pre-service countdown video goes for 3 minutes. What we do is just before the service is about to start, we play that one, the kids hear it, they know that the service is about to begin, so they run down the front, ready to start.
There's a big countdown at the end of it, and it's a great way to build anticipation for your service.
Fantastic. Praise and worship accompaniment track videos.
Okay, so there are 4 different songs per big picture. And you can use these in your children's ministry for praise and worship. If you've got a band or not, it doesn't really matter. You can use these. There's a click track version, so the band can play along, or the full mix version where there's all the mix in there, as we talked about before.
The big word is there to help your children remember the Bible. Remember their big word.
The memory verse. Our friend Annika teaches your kids actions to help them retain and remember that verse.
The big message video clips. This is the real chunk of what the big curriculum is all about.
It's the central video to this whole thing. Basically is a 7-minute long teaching video that's going to help your kids engage them, help them learn, and get them excited about the Word.
But it is broken down to 3 parts, Dave.
Yeah, so let's explain these 3 parts. The first part runs for about 4 minutes. That includes like a film of us planning what we call the big message.
And that's set in what we call Big HQ, our big headquarters.
Now that is simply us talking about what we're going to do and how we're going to film it. We talk about issues that may come up. We talk about struggles that we may have.
We really bring out a lot of what the Word of God has to say about the message as well.
And then what we do is we go and film what we have just discussed, and that's shown in the second part, which runs for 2 minutes. Now that could be a reality TV show.
Could be a movie trailer.
It could be a music video.
Or a dance item.
It could be anything like that to communicate this big message we're trying to get across.
That's a real fun way to connect with people and children of all different learning styles.
Exactly. The last segment is a 1-minute long segment where 2 of us, myself or Nathan or one of the other pastors here, will sum up the teaching.
That's a really good one to summarize everything we've tried to teach through the first 2 segments.
Exactly. And that runs for about 7 minutes, the whole video. Honestly, your kids will love it.
Okay, after that we put on the big quiz.
The big quiz.
Tell us how that works, Dave, because it's a bit different to normal question and answer.
It is a little bit different. What we do is we have a simple multi-choice, usually true or false kind of question come up. The options will come up on the screen, then there'll be a picture of a child on the screen, let's say you, Nath, holding up a bit of card, and he is going to give a guess for the answer. Let's say he went A. What you do is instead of getting your children to vote on the correct answer, you're getting them to vote on whether they think Nathan is right or wrong.
That way, not just one child gets to be a part of it, but your entire children's ministry gets to yell out whether they think they're correct, or maybe no, if they think that the child is incorrect.
And then it will show the correct answer, and all the kids will go crazy because they get it right usually. They're pretty easy questions.
Depending on what your reward structure is, you could throw out points to the team who's got it correct.
Exactly. The ministry time video, when you're praying for your kids, you really ideally want some kind of atmosphere set in the room.
It really helps to build a sense of faith in the room and expectation.
Exactly. So you can run this just quietly in the background. You can also hit repeat on your DVD player, and then it'll repeat the loop. It runs for about 7 or 8 minutes. Now this is fantastic. It's just an instrumental song that really helps you pray for kids.
No words, so the kids don't get distracted.
Exactly.
They're focused entirely on what you're saying. Finally, we have our game time video.
Just like with our ministry time, with the game time, you want an atmosphere.
Totally, but this time it's more of an upbeat, energetic atmosphere. So on the screens, they're all sorts of patterns, and then the music is really upbeat.
Exactly. You'll love it. Again, you can hit repeat on your DVD player, and that will loop until you need to move on to the next segment.
So no matter how long your game is, you'll always have music for it.
Big Message Live.
This is a live upfront teaching segment designed to communicate the big idea and big point.
The print material disc contains leaders' guides for each lesson. These leaders' guides include the Big Message Live outline document.
Use the Big Message Live outline document to construct a message that works for you and your children's ministry. In this document, you will find the message outlines and ideas such as object lessons, story ideas, and points to communicate to your children the big point of this lesson. How to use the print material disc?
Well, you're going to need a computer, Nath.
Well, that's a good start, Dave.
Chuck it in your computer. In there's a whole bunch of directories with PDFs, documents to print out, leaders' guides, activity sheets. Everything's on there, organized in folders. So just look for the folder that you need for that weekend. Open them up, print out what you need. You can print out as little as you need or as much as you need.
Does it work on both PCs and Mac?
Absolutely, Nath.
Fantastic.
Well, right now we're going to run over some other service elements that we can have in our program and our curriculum, and we're also going to talk about how we use this ourselves.
Let's start with KDGs, our Kids Discipleship Groups.
Now, these are our small groups, which that we run with the curriculum and in our church ministry. Of course, we're going to cover them in more detail in another training, but for now, what you need to know is this is the small group part of our big curriculum.
KDGs really complement the upfront teaching of the curriculum. It gives children the opportunity to ask further questions and really be discipled by a leader.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about some free play activities.
Okay, well, I like to use a lot of high energy activities because in free play it's good to get them excited and energized.
And that's what we do, and we use them pretty much every service that we have at the beginning of our services.
It's a fantastic opportunity to really connect with children, especially new children who might not be familiar with your program. Gives them a chance to meet leaders and children.
Ask Gods and Thank You Gods. Now, we've got these included in this curriculum. You can print off Ask Gods and what we call Thank You Gods. These are little bits of paper that children can write Ask Gods and Thank You Gods.
Just like in main church, they often pray for people. We would love to do the same in children's ministry.
Exactly. So what we do is use these, and every single week kids fill them out. Sometimes they're really big needs like healing, and sometimes they're just, I broke my toenail.
It also gives us, as the pastors, the opportunity to follow up these children and make sure they're doing okay and hear the great reports when they are.
You can print those off on the print material desk.
Another thing we do in our services is tithes and offerings.
Now, we obviously want to encourage you to create messages for those offerings that work with your kids. There are some samples on our curriculum, but that's one thing we do every single service. We talk about giving and being generous to God.
We really put a biblical basis behind why we give rather than just tell them that they should give.
It's great that they learn when they're kids.
Totally.
We don't have to wait till parents until they're older to learn how to give. We want kids to learn to be generous when they're small.
Proverbs 22:6, Dave.
Oh,
Teach a child, train a child in the way he should go, and when he is older, he shall not depart from it.
that's pretty good.
I know.
Do you know any other verses?
No.
Okay. Kids news.
Kids news. We often film just with the handy cam, our kids talking about things that are coming up in the life of our church.
Exactly.
We show it in our programs to help other children hear about what's coming up and get excited.
Just gives us a chance to announce what's coming up to the kids. Now, one other thing we do in our ministry is the Welcome DVD. Now, this is a fantastic way to introduce new kids and to reinforce all of the, let's say, the rules or whatever you have in your children's ministry.
It also goes over the structures of your service.
So if, for instance, how do kids go to the toilet? Now, not literally, but how do they actually, what do they go, who do they ask if they need to go to the toilet? There's nothing worse than a new child being too scared or embarrassed to ask somebody about that.
Totally. It really helps introduce your reward system as well and gives new children an opportunity straight away to hear how church operates.
So I encourage you, make something that introduces every single service. It also literally reinforces, especially if you've got multiple services, then you're doing the same thing every service, which is helpful for consistency. Well, here's a bit of an option for you to use big in your children's ministry.
Our services go for 90 minutes, so let's have a look at a bit of a 90-minute lesson plan.
Okay, let's start off with our free play. The kids have come in, they're hanging out. 3 minutes before the service starts, let's roll the pre-service countdown video.
This leads straight into praise and worship because the children are already down the front because of the pre-service countdown.
Exactly. We do some couple of fast songs, maybe a bit of a worship song, really engage the kids in worship with your team or with the DVD or whatever you're doing. And then you can do Ask God and Thank You Gods.
After the Ask God, Thank You Gods, you can go straight into the big word where the children learn the memory verse for that month.
After that, dive right into the big message. This is the big teaching segment, so you want all the kids focused up on the front.
After the big message, you can put the big quiz on. Really helps to engage the children and make sure they've listened up throughout the whole message.
And they'll love answering those questions. Straight after the big quiz, you can do an offering.
Followed by the big message live.
Now, this is where you take that big message DVD and really tailor one point that maybe you really feel like God's wanting to speak to your kids.
It's always good after sharing a message from God to do some ministry time. So you can put the ministry time video on at this point.
And also, if you want to pray for salvation, ask the kids to receive Christ, all that kind of stuff, it's a perfect time to do it.
Great.
Now, for the last 40 minutes,
we'd go into our KDGs, which are our kids' discipleship groups.
Now, all in that, the kids are sitting down, learning, being discipled, chatting and connecting with other kids and leaders.
I find the children love this the most as they really get to connect with kids and leaders.
Then maybe at the end you can either have the kids stay in their small groups to be picked up by their parents, or at the last point, get them all back down the front and have a bit of a game with them. Now that's just one option of what you could do, Nathan. You can do any kind of configuration you like.
But remember, the program is up to you. Do what works best for your children because you are their pastor.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for taking the time to watch this training video. We pray that Big will be a blessing to you and your children's ministry.
Now make sure to log on to hillsongkidsbig.com. Send us your questions, your feedback there. Also, there's a lot of extra material on there that you may like to get a hold of. So thanks once again. We'll see you next time.
Bye.